Hello, welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to fill a hole in the wall. Maybe you need to fill in some holes ready for painting, or maybe you're looking how to get the perfect finish with your filler when you fill those holes. Whatever the reason, this is the video for you. We've just put up this really heavy mirror here, and in order to do so, we had to actually brace it because it's just a single stud wall that we've got here. So that meant that we've ended up with some extra holes in the wall that we need to sort out now to bring this back to looking new. So that's our story. Whatever your story is, I'm going to show you how to do a great job filling a hole. So what do you need for the job? Well, first and foremost, some filler. You can buy the ready-made mixtures like these that come in a tube a bit like this, or you can get the powder form which you mix yourself. This is a lot cheaper. You can mix it to the exact consistency you want, and it also doesn't tend to shrink, which can be a problem with these ready mixed options. Also, these powder ones actually cure and dry quicker, so you can put your second coat on quicker if you need one, which I'm hoping you won't if you follow this video carefully, and they can also be ready to paint on quicker after, so quick and easy and cheap, we always go for that option. So here's our ready mixed option that we made just a little while ago. Once you've made this, you don't always have that long to work with it, sometimes half an hour to an hour. So we added the water in, mixed it around, and you'll see it's ready to go. Now, it's not glooping off the spoon or anything like that, so we know it's going to do a good job and stick in there nicely. So of course, follow the instructions on the particular filler that you're using because they all vary slightly. This particular one was double the amount of powder to the amount of water, but it may vary slightly depending on what product you're using. Other things you might need: a cloth, just so you can give the area a quick wipe before you start and make sure it's dust-free and there's no grains that are going to get caught up in your filling. Another thing that's very useful is an old credit card. You can have some fancy tools, use some fancy tools if you have them, but if not, this will do the job just as well. This is going to give us that smooth finish once we put the filler in. A couple of other things you might have noticed I don't have. One is a sander. Now, some people will advise using sanders when you are filling afterwards to get that finish. If you follow this process, you shouldn't need any sanders or any sanding. And the other thing you just will want to think about is, depending on how deep the hole is that you're trying to fill, it may have gone through the plasterboard or through the drywall, and that's when you've then got that gap between the drywall or the plasterboard and your brick behind it. This is if you are filling plasterboard and drywall, by the way. If you're in that situation, you may find once you put the filler in, it starts to seep behind that and just disappear. So you might want to put something in first. Now, a little bit of scrunched up, slightly damp newspaper will work really well. You can just stick that in there, and that will make sure that it then holds that filler in place. So I've taken a little bit of the filler onto my old credit card or store card, whatever we're using, and I'm now just going to apply this into the hole. Ours isn't too deep, so we haven't had to take any of those extra measures like putting in a little bit of newspaper. So this should just be filled up nicely. So what we're trying to achieve here is we're trying to completely fill the hole to the point where it's filled right up to the wall and comes slightly proud outside of the wall. And then we're in the right situation where we can get that nice finish. Now, believe it or not, this part here is where people start to go wrong. You have to resist the temptation to start playing around with your filler too much. We know that it's covered, more than covered the hole. So now it's time to leave it. Go for a cup of tea, leave it to cure for about 5 or 10 minutes. Then you can come back with your clean credit card and just scrape that excess off, and that's how you'll get the perfect finish. So we've just got a second small hole to fill here. We had a little flaky bit of paint there, so I've pulled that off so that we've got a better surface to play with. So we're back from our tea break. We haven't been so long that this has gone hard. It's still slightly soft. We've got our clean credit card, which I've dipped in water so it's slightly wet. And now what we want to do here is remove all of the excess in one clean swipe. So here we go. So that's the first one done. I'm happy with that. Let's just go for the second. So our holes are filled, we have a nice smooth finish, and all we need to do now is to paint over it and it'll be as good as new. This is the point where you need to check your filler manufacturer's instructions to see how long you need to leave it for before you can paint on top of it. In the case of our filler, there's nothing else needed. You can just paint directly on top of this one. So within about 24 hours, we'll be good to go and you will never know there was a hole in the wall. That's the idea anyway. I hope that you found this video useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, I would absolutely love it if you subscribed and come back very soon. And of course, if you've got any of your own filler experiences or comments to share, please feel free to do so in the comments down below. That's all for today though. Thanks so much for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye.